What's up, everybody? MXT here. Today I'm playing a game called Kidnapped Girl on Steam. That's right. Without further ado, let's get into this game. The day I turned 17, I kidnapped a girl. Oh my God. Wow. Her name was Alice. Sociability was not the main feature of her character. In class, she was always quiet, especially with no one to talk to. A girl like her was not difficult to pull out for a date after school. In the process, she readily agreed to come home with me, where I gave her some juice laced with sleeping pills. Alice fell asleep in just a few minutes. It's my first kidnapping. OMG, guys, this is crazy. Not a bad beginning. Everything went according to plan, although with the dosage, I went too far. I lived with my uncle. His house was too big for just the two of us, so some of the rooms were empty. My uncle said for a long time that he wanted to rent them out, but he didn't post any ads, so I used one of them as my torture chamber. Oh my goodness. Of course, he didn't know that. My mind is blown, guys. Edward was the name of my uncle. He rarely went into the empty room. The only key card to the room was settled in my pocket. Edward always came home late, so today I had plenty of time to have fun with my new toy. Oh my gosh, he's calling kidnapped girl a toy. When I locked myself in the room with Alice, I felt a wave of heat swept through my body. Her name is Alice. My hands were sweating as began to crawl along the rope. My gaze darted hungrily from the sharp blade to the white skin of the motionless body and back again. I licked my lips in anticipation. Oh my goodness, this guy has mad problems, psychological. Simultaneously with the excitement, bad thoughts came to my head. Yeah, I would think so. I looked back at the closed door. Did I make a mistake? Did everything go well? I shook my head, shaking off my misgivings, and set about the task I had long dreamed of. The only thing that matters now is that it's just the two of us, and that we won't be disturbed for the next few hours. Oh my goodness, few hours. Scary stuff. I was getting excited about what was coming. Putting my tools aside, I sat down next to Alice. Putting my hands on her thin, fragile leg, I ran my hand up her thigh, touching the edge of her short skirt. I need to take off her clothes. Otherwise, it will only prevent me from enjoying the work done. Oh my goodness. Button by button, I slowly removed her shirt and froze in disbelief. There were bruises and other signs of beatings under her clothes. I didn't hit her, so I couldn't have left those bruises. Then where did they come from? Is she being beaten at home? And after all, she was only beaten where the clothes could hide the bruises. to avoid being seen by strangers. It seems that Alice was regularly bullied. In some places, there were fresh bruises filled with blood. In others, disgusting blackened spots. The older ones were slowly dissolving. I can't even imagine how hard and painful it is to move in this state. But she came to school every day and even smiled in rare conversations with her classmates. She's been being abused for a long time, guys. Perhaps she decided to go with me so that she could return home as late as possible. These thoughts made the desire to hurt her disappear. But it didn't change my mind, no. That strange feeling in my heart was probably not pity, but disappointment. After all, psychos like me can't feel pity and can't empathize with others. When I kidnapped Alice, I wanted to enjoy her suffering, to see the first drop of blood on her smooth white skin. And now I can't get what I want. Her body is covered in injuries without my effort. It's like asking for a sweet birthday cake, but getting a stale, moldy cupcake. How can I feel Alice with pain and horror when she is already being bullied? After thinking about it, I decided to hide all the torture items that could indicate the real reason for the abduction. And when Alice wakes up, I'll send her home and find a better victim next time. I hope there is no next time. Finally, Alice opens her eyes. Ask if she's all right. Keep silent. As soon as she regained consciousness, I rushed to her, fidgeting concern. Oh, you're awake. Are you all right? Does it hurt anywhere? When we were sitting down, you suddenly fainted, and However, Alice was in no hurry to show excitement. Instead, she got up, looked around, closed her eyes for a second, and then looked directly at me.
Ты усыпил меня.
You put me to sleep. Oh my goodness, confrontation. Those words froze me for a second. How did she know about that? Oh, what are you talking about? I told you, you just passed out. Malnutrition or something. Maybe you're not eating enough carbs. I've been put to sleep more than once, so I know the feeling when I start to fall asleep after a sleeping pill. Oh my gosh, totally unexpected. Put to sleep? I was more taken aback by this news than when Alice said that I had drugged her. It's... Never mind. Why did you put me to sleep anyway? Did you do something to me? Oh my goodness. She's wondering. Oh my goodness. Alice touched herself between her legs without lifting her skirt. Hey, I didn't do anything wrong to you. She took her hands away.
Ты прав.
You're right.
Тогда зачем?
Then why? I told you.
Я знаю, что ты усыпил
I know you
меня.
put me to
Перестань
sleep.
переводить
Stop
ответ.
dodging the question. I didn't know what to say. The awkwardness of the situation increased with every second. I didn't know what to do or what to say. It was necessary to change the subject urgently and try to take control of the situation. Where did you get the bruises?
Так ты меня раздевал?
So you undressed me. Oh my goodness. Well, that is true. He most definitely did that, and that's how we know that she's been bullied.
Я поняла.
I get it.
Где фотографии?
Where are the photos? What photos?
Фотографии моего
The photos of my body. No. I didn't undress you or take pictures of you. Trust me.
Тогда почему
Then why
ты
did you put
усыпил
me to
меня?
sleep? Oh my goodness, Alice. I mean, she's aiming straight for the jugular with that question. She wants to know. She knows for a fact that she was drugged, put to sleep. That is not true at all, and you still haven't answered my question.
Скажу только после того,
I will only
как
tell you
услышу
after I
правду.
hear the truth. She wants the truth. I hesitated. Should I tell the truth? Something like, oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to torture you at home. But it's okay. I've already changed my mind, so you can go home now. No, this is nonsense. Then, I'm not sure if it will work, but it's worth a try. Lowering his eyes and stammering, he pretended to be very confused. The only way to get out of this situation, which would go without suspicion, is to come up with a sufficiently touching story. Oh my goodness. He's gonna try to pull Alice's heartstrings for what he did, which was put sleeping pills on her drink, in which she drank and fell asleep. But then upon waking up, Alice, being put to sleep like that before, understood what happened and is questioning. As far as I know, girls are more emotional and romantic than boys. I like you. Oh my God. Really? And for long I had the desire to kidnap a loved one. So I decided on my birthday to make myself a gift. Rubbing my hands, I continued to stare at the floor without looking up.
Да кто в такое
Who
поверит?
would believe that?
Погоди, ты
Wait, you
помнишь меня?
love me? Was that even said? I got a little bit confused there. I thought he said he liked her, but did he say he loved her? He did say he was gonna manipulate her and pretty much, gaslight her into believing that he does. I nodded uncertainly.
Я...
Someone
Как
like
это
me?
понравилось.
The recent awareness and anger disappeared smoothly. She smiled and her eyes lit up. Wow, it worked. Well, my lie worked. Although, I must admit, I did not expect much success and was already prepared to reduce the kidnapping to a mocking joke. He was already prepared to be like, I was just kidding, girl, come on, you know me. But he didn't have to. He instead told her that he loves her. And she bought it. To laugh in her face, call her a naive fool for believing that such a handsome man like me can truly ask a middle-mannered girl like her out. Oh my goodness. Full of himself much? Yeah. And then rudely take her to the door after dealing with several insult phrases thrown at me? After this farewell, it is not that I could just go back and talk to her anytime soon. Ooh, that whole let's pretend it never happened. I must admit that Alice is not as simple as it seemed. I didn't manage to convince her the first time, although I am an experienced liar. But how can she immediately believe that I love her? Well, I was wondering at her naivety. She thought about something for a couple of seconds in silence.
Получается.
It turns out that I was kidnapped by my classmate, who is also crazy. Oh my goodness, there you go, guys. Oh yeah, Alice is no dummy. She understood. She was kidnapped. Her voice has become more soft. I would even say melodious.
А что ты хотела
What did you
сделать
want
дальше?
to do next? Well, I wanted to let you to live with me, probably. Wait a minute. Well, I wanted to let you, okay, to live with me, okay. Alice laughed.
Наверное.
Probably.
А ты не все
You
продумал,
didn't
да?
think it through, did you? No, not at all. There's nothing funny about it. I frowned slightly, which confused my former captors.
Прости.
I'm sorry. I just always thought you were incredible.
У тебя отличные оценки.
You have excellent grades in all subjects.
Понимаешь, призовые
You get prizes. You are good at sports. I never thought a guy like you would like. Oh my goodness, the kidnappers are Casanova, an alpha male. Oh my.
А еще не думала, что все-таки
A shad, like they say. I didn't think you were a bit stupid after all. And this is said by the person who was kidnapped.
Обижаешь?
How dare you? We laughed. The tension had disappeared. Alice relaxed and began to behave more freely and at ease. At school, she usually doesn't attract attention. During recess, she rarely leaves the classroom, sitting at her desk with her head down or silently looking out the window. In general, an inconspicuous gray mouse. And now I even catch myself thinking that she has a very nice smile. Oh, something's happening. School, hobbies, music, we moved smoothly from one topic to another, consciously not thinking about the kidnapping, and did not notice how time flew by. The longer we talked, the more free Alice felt. She listened to me with genuine interest, sometimes even making various jokes in my direction and laughing silently. Sincerely, I listened to her stories, and sometimes I couldn't help but smile. I got the feeling that the Alice who goes to school with me and the Alice who is sitting next to me are two different people. I never thought Alice could be so sociable and happy. The next few hours passed quickly. We chatted about all sorts of nonsense. I was an idiot. Oh, interesting turn of events. It's late. I think it's time for you to go home. Your parents are probably already worried. My words made Alice suddenly sad. Her smile and the sparkle in her eyes were gone. It's like she's back in the ghost mask she always worn at school.
У меня нет родителей.
I don't have parents. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Sorry, then who do you live with?
С мачехой.
With my
и
stepmother and her boyfriend.
ухажером.
Oh, look, by the expression on her face, it's not good, guys. Remember, she has been beaten. Somebody's abusing her. She almost hissed the last words through her teeth. It was immediately clear to me that things were not going well at home. My guess was confirmed. The family does not favor her very much. Alice continued to sit next to me, not wanting to leave. I was silent and just looked at the time on my phone. Edward should be back soon, and if he sees Alice, I will have to explain. He is a good man and will be happy if I bring a girl home, but Alice is not my girlfriend. I just kidnapped her and tried to torture her. Oh my goodness. Whew, just reading that is some strong stuff, man. Bind and hide in another room where they gag in her mouth is one thing, but to explain what Alice was doing and how we met, I didn't want to. Oh my goodness, that is insane how a person could just say these words and still be functional. Seeing my confusion, she stopped. Alice glanced at me briefly, then for a moment pursed her lips and with a sharp exhale stood up.
Прости, ты ведь не один живешь, а я и так задержалась.
I'm sorry, you don't live alone and it's already late. She went to the door with a noticeable reluctance. It was raining outside. Before leaving, Alice turned around saying the last words.
Знаешь,
You know,
я была
I
бы не
wouldn't
против,
mind if
если
you
бы ты
really
действительно
kidnapped me.
похитил меня.
You're much
Мне было
more
уютнее.
comforting. What kind of thing to say? I mean, we're talking about kidnapping people. Oh my goodness. And she left. Thank goodness. So it would have ended, but a couple of hours later, Alice returned. No, you were safe. The doorbell rang.
Клайв,
Clive,
пожалуйста, похить меня.
please kidnap me. Oh, OMG. After voicing her insane request and holding her back with a trembling hand, she smiled and cried. The smile on her face was just an artificial dam ready to collapse at any moment under the influx of emotions, unable to contain the accumulated sadness, loneliness, and despair. What happened to her? Why is she crying? Such questions did not linger in my mind for long because the way she looked now, her pain drew and beckoned. Her vulnerability and tears seemed to cry, lock me away from people and do what you want to me. Oh, come on. Come on. Her vulnerability and tears seem to cry, lock me away from people and do what you want to me. That is insane. On my doorstep stood not a sad classmate, but a victim begging her executor to put her out of her misery. Oh my goodness. This is just mind-boggling. It's crazy. The sign of her made me want to hurt her again. Oh, a familiar wave of excitement ran through my body. My breath quickened. My hands trembled with impatience. I wanted to lock myself in with her again and run the blade over that soft skin. No, I wanted to see how her tears would flow with the drops of blood. No, do you want to be kidnapped? Haven't you even considered the possible consequences? Poor Alice. I couldn't help it. Oh, you couldn't help it. Oh my goodness. I roughly grabbed her hand and led her to the same room. No, we were alone again. All that remains is to take a knife and... No way.
Погоди, Клайв, ты хочешь сделать это со мной?
Wait, Clive, you want to do this to me?
Даже
Even
несмотря
though
на то,
I'm
что
a
я
used
использовала металл.
product? What are you talking about? Alice told me everything. She worked as a streetwalker. I wanted to save money so that after coming of age, I could immediately leave my stepmother and her boyfriend and live separately. Her stepmother's lover liked to molest her, but Alice always locked herself in her room. Oh my goodness, she's underage. She's getting molested by her stepmother's boyfriend. Good God. And she has very, very, very low self-esteem. She's not thinking properly, and now she finds herself with a kidnapper, a psycho. Like, oh my goodness, people. Today, when she returned home, this man, as always, was drunk. Her stepmother was not at home, and he tried to rape her. She barely fought back and ran away from home, returning to me. She had nowhere else to go.
Теперь ты ненавидишь меня.
Now you hate me. I'm sorry I
жаль,
did it.
что
If
занималась
I'd
этим.
known someone
Если
like
бы
you
знала, что
would like me, her tears started to flow harder.
Но, пожалуйста, позволь мне остаться у тебя. Я сделаю что угодно.
But please let me stay with you. I'll do anything. Anything? Those two words stuck in my head. Would she consent to be the victim of my torture? Oh no. While I was thinking about this, Alice continued to stand, waiting for my answer. I couldn't find any words to say, so I hugged her instead. Wow, okay. This embrace was a fleeting impulse, which for some reason I instantly obeyed. And even though I didn't expect it from myself, at that moment, this hug seemed the only right thing to do. Okay, seems like he's developing a conscience. This is how we started living together. Oh. Clive, are you still awake? Hi, Edward. I need to prepare for tomorrow's test. Good. Just don't overdo it because I won't ask you to give me high marks. It's enough for me that you're happy. Yes, I understand. Well, I won't bother you. He didn't notice anything. Great. I locked the door and went to the balcony. Alice, you can come in, but quietly.
Все прошло хорошо?
Did everything go well? Yes. Initially, I wanted to put Alice in one of the empty rooms, but she was afraid that my uncle would still notice her, so she stubbornly demanded to spend the night with me. My room was suspicious, so it was easy to lay another... Suspicious? What am I thinking? My room was spacious, so it was easy to lay another mattress. In theory, Alice would go to school with me. Edward always left the house earlier, so there wouldn't be any problems. On Saturday, we could stay at home, and on Sunday, Uncle did not work, so Alice and I would just walk late until Edward falls asleep. The only problem was that my uncle could come into the room at night, so I started locking. Okay, so we started locking his door. Since then, I've had many opportunities to talk to Alice. Maybe it's because we started living together. At school, she followed me everywhere. Why are you following me?
А что я должна делать? Если
Why
ты
are
будешь
you
со мной,
running?
тебя что-то будет
Hilarious. What should I do? If you will be with me, you will have various surprises. What are the surprises? Am I not going to give in to such temptations? She came close to me and whispered in my ear.
Даже если ты хочешь кое-чем со мной заняться, это мило.
And even if you want to do something with me, it's nice. You're kidding.
Эй, не делай такое безразличное лицо.
Hey, don't make such an indifferent face. Alice's conversation and behavior turned me on every time. After a while, I decided to finish what I started. Saturday. Oh my goodness, finish what I started. No. I don't. Alice, can I tie you up? Oh my goodness, no. At this point, she was chewing chips, and when I asked her about it, Alice froze with her mouth open. So, will you let me?
Ха? Ты наконец решил показать мне свой тайный фетиш, да?
Huh?
что ж,
You finally decided to show me your
ибо Алиса
secret
сегодня в
fetish,
хорошем
huh?
настроении.
Well, be glad, for Alice is in a good mood today. Oh my goodness. She agreed. She says it's a fetish, but it's not. I know that she would not refuse me. During the time we spent together, it was easy to see that Alice had fallen head over heels in love with me. Now she was as docile as a trained dog. Oh no. Before proceeding with my plan, I put a diaper on the bed so as to not stain the bed with blood. What? Oh, what? The imagery of all. And then, no, I tied Alice up, unbuttoned her skirt, and taped her mouth shut. Oh, no. No resistance. On the contrary, she put her hands in the loops, waiting with interest for what would happen next. Just in case I turned up the music louder. The neighbors don't need to hear all the screaming. Oh. As soon as the blade of the knife flashed in my hands, Alice twitched, but immediately fell silent, probably thinking it was a joke. How wrong she was. I put the knife to her slightly pale skin, which had already removed almost all the bruises. There was only one small movement of the hand left. Pushed down, started bleeding. Moaning, resisting, fear. She tried to get out, but I tied her up tight. Just as I was about to make another cut, I felt something was wrong. Oh my. Oh, why? Why don't I feel pleasure? I've always wanted to do this. So why? I'm an effing psychopath. What the hell have I done? I dropped the knife and ran out of the room, leaving Alice bound and alone. At that moment, I realized with horror that I no longer want to hurt her. What the hell was wrong with me? I've been dreaming about this, dreaming about getting a knife, and I remember the trail of blood running down Alice's chest, and I suddenly felt sick. My stomach felt sick. My throat felt tight. My body was bent in convulsions. I could barely contain my vomit, pushing the nausea away. I leaned my back against the wall and slid down. Alice, look at this girl. I saw a person filled with pain. I often met such people on the street. Their blank stare, quiet voice, and hesitant movements always made me want to pick up a guitar string and tighten it around the poor person's neck. Oh, no. Then why do I feel so bad now that I'm so close to realizing my dream? I'm crazy. I have never pitied nor compassion. I'm an effing maniac, a psychopath, a lunatic. With every such thought, I would slam my fist on the floor with a vicious frenzy, and my eyes would fill with tears. I don't remember how long I sat there, maybe a minute, maybe an hour. In a fit of anger at myself, time simply ceased to exist. Calming down a little, I got up from the floor. I need to unite Alice. I need to untie Alice. After this, she will probably leave me. It's better this way. I don't want to see her again. I don't want to hurt her anymore. After returning to the room with a first aid kit and providing minimal medical assistance, I untied it. You can leave. The door is open. Alice didn't move and just looked down in silence. Then her eyes got wet.
Так значит, ты специально это устроил, чтобы
So
выгнать
you
меня?
did this on purpose to kick me out? I'm right, right? Not at all.
Тогда зачем ты сотворил со мной такую ужасную вещь?
And why did you do such a terrible thing to me?
Точно хочешь избавиться
I do not
от меня?
understand. You really want to get rid of me? No.
Да.
Yes. She started shouting and started throwing dirty words at me. I just waited in silence for her to calm down.
Сукин ты сын.
You son of a
Зачем ты ранил
B.
меня?
Then why did you hurt me? Because I'm a psychopath. I've always wanted to do this. In the beginning, I kidnapped you just to torture you.
Тогда почему
Why did you
остановился?
stop? Oh, Alice, come on, girl. No, you don't want that. I don't know. I don't enjoy it. I've always thought I wanted to hurt someone, but it turns out that this was not the case. Damn, I am such an idiot. A fool, I say. We didn't say anything else. We just sat across from each other in silence, their eyes downcast. After a while, Alice broke the silence.
Clive,
Leave.
значит,
So you don't like me? I raised my head and looked at her. She looked more or less calm now. No, I never liked you. Oh my goodness. That is brutal. This is crazy, guys. I got a slap in the face.
ты солгал.
You lied? I hate you.
Ненавижу тебя.
We didn't talk for the next few days. I didn't kick her out, and she didn't leave after all. So she stayed living with him, but they were angry at each other for a couple of days. They didn't even talk. One day, Edward came home early from work. I left Alice locked in my room. You know, Clive, I've noticed that our food has started to go missing more often. Oh, it's because of me. Recently, I read on the internet that a sports person needs to consume a lot of calories. That's why I sometimes eat for two. Here's how you're right. We were still eating when Edward spoke again. By the way, Clive, I also noticed that you started closing your room. Anything you want to tell me? Damn, it looks like I'm going to have to use an excuse that I've already came up with just in case I don't want to use it. Edward, I'm a teenager, and teenagers have some things they shouldn't talk about. Do you understand? Are you? Oh, no way. Ed? Ha ha ha! Come on. Can an uncle tease his nephew? Oh my goodness. Sometimes he acts like a damn child. What about the girl? I tense up. Does he know? Are there hidden cameras everywhere? Do you have one? I've never heard you say anything about it. I sigh with relief. I don't have a girlfriend, and however, I do not plan to start a relationship yet, since studying already takes a lot of my time. I think you need to relax sometimes. A girl would be nice. No, girls are such creatures that you waste your time on. I'd rather spend the next few years chasing my goals. Okay. It would have gone on like this if something hadn't happened a few days later that I was so afraid of. Alice's story. Clive had to stay at school after school. He gave Alice the key card to the apartment and wanted her to return without it. Taking the key without further ado, Alice left. He gave Alice the key card to the apartment and warned her to return without, I guess, to go open the door. As she entered the house and started to take off her shoes, the light came on in the hallway and Edward came out of the hall. Oh my goodness, busted. Well, hello, thief. Oh. Huh? Alice, tell him how you're way too attracted to be a thief. Alice dropped the map Clive had given her. Clive's key card. Are you his girlfriend? Yes.
Да, я его девушка.
Yes, I'm his girlfriend. Hey, Clive told me that he doesn't have a girlfriend. So why did you come without him?
Ну, мы с Клайвом хотели поселиться у него дома. Он отдал мне ключ, сказав, что вас
He
не будет
gave me the
допоздна.
key, saying you'd be out late. Edward pressed her with his gaze for a while. I see. Everything is clear with you. It seemed to Alice that the atmosphere became more tense. I hope you know that you should always carry condoms with you. I'm just kidding. Don't be embarrassed. Come in. I'll make you some tea. I don't know. I mean, that's crazy. Alice sat at the table. Edward made 2 mugs of tea and set the table. So how long have you been dating?
Около месяца.
About a month. Now it is clear whose dying hair I've noticed on the floor all month. Alice did not know what to say and only looked down at the tea in confusion. Do you often come here after school?
Да.
Yes,
Клайв
Clive helps me
помогает
with
мне с
my
уроками.
lessons. How are you doing in
Да
school?
так.
So,
Не
not too
особо.
well. I hope that's all
Надеюсь,
right. Oh, of course. Of course, nothing. Grades don't mean much. The main thing is the person's personality, character, actions, and so on. I didn't do well at school myself, but that did not stop me from going into business. And for some reason, Clive works so hard, spending all his free time doing it. He's a strange boy, but not a bad one. Sometimes, though, I can't figure out what's going on in his head. I don't know about this whole. He's a strange boy, but he says, but not a bad one. I don't know about that. I mean, did he tell you about his parents?
Нет.
No. They committed a double suicide in front of him. Oh my goodness. Alice raised her eyes from the first time and looked at Edward. There was no longer a smile on her face, only a faint sadness. After their death, I became Clive's guardian. He was only 7 years old at the time, and from there on, he became withdrawn and didn't look happy at all. Oh my goodness. Although before, when I came to visit my older brother, this boy was a fun guy. But from that moment, everything changed. Edward took